Okay, I think we're finally ready to go.
Yes.
I'm going to back us up a little bit more.
Hello, guys.
Sorry. Hi, everybody.
Hello. Hi,
and hi, everybody, Instagram.
Hi, Facebook.
We're doing double here, so I'm going to push this out a little bit so we're talking to everybody at the same time.
Absolutely.
Ooh, look at me and my rosacea.
So I guess this is like a perfect way to kind of, you know, when people get in a stress situation, things happening, like right now we were trying to figure out the light and things, but you know, that's what's all about being in a live situation, right? Like what happens with you all the time, I'm sure, when you do photography, right? Things happen all the time and there's no time to fix things fast, right?
Exactly. You really learn how to think on your feet. I'm going to come a little closer to you. Come closer to me. Yes. You really learn how to work on your feet, and if something doesn't quite go right, then you have to figure out really quickly how to move forward, and like they say, the show must go on. And so that's kind of what we were doing here. So we're together now. I'm Amanda with Oralia Creative Photography. This is Sofia Bee.
I'm Sofia Bee, and I am a professional esthetician that's actually been trained as a medical esthetician, but I have a huge love for photography and beauty and makeup. So a lot of times, you know, I do makeup and people just want to go sleep because, you know, that esthetician touch.
Oh yeah. Why do you think I volunteered for this?
Exactly. So that's Somilia. She's in the background, so you might see her. Hello guys. Let's wait. Go back.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Lily.
Hi. We are very good. So,
hi, Samantha.
So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna show you this one. Well, not few things that are magic, and what's really gonna help to any skin condition. But lately I actually met quite a lot of people with rosacea, and sometimes people didn't even know that they didn't have rosacea. They think it's just like, oh, it's just a little, I'm hot. But no, what's rosacea is, I mean, doctors still don't know how it happens, what's really happening, what triggers it. But we are gonna, you know, just what my point is, I don't want to cover anything because a lot of times people want to like really cover it. I love personally coverage, but you know, not everybody likes it, and most people like it more in a natural way. And I'm gonna show you the beauty blender, and see, this is the dirty version and this is a clean version. And see, like, this is how small it is, and this is when it's wet. And it's clean, so do you feel how it's like nice and wet? Yeah. It's very, very soft. And this is the cleanser that's actually Beauty Blender has antibacterial properties. I personally wash my Beauty Blender every single time before I use. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's for me or if I use it on a client, because I like it to be super, super clean, and it's just the way I am. And today, I had a question on my last post that Katya asked me. It's like, what kind of BB cream do you like? And the Charlotte Tilbury, this one, it's actually like samples that I got from my trusty friends at Nordstrom, because they know I do a lot of makeup, and sometimes I would meet people, and I mean my clients or like someone that I work with, and I would just use that sample, and I'm like, you know what, just take it so you can take it to the counter, so that way they know the shade. And they made it really easy. They just made it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever shades. I believe they made it like 12 or 16 shades or something like that, so it's a good range.
Yeah.
You know, anyone can find it. And what's really cool, what is a BB cream and what is a CC cream? So CC cream is for normal to dry skin, and BB cream, it's normal to the oily skin. You know, honestly, most people normal to oily, I hardly see, I mean, I don't see a lot of times people with dry skin. So I am gonna try and see, and first, I'm actually gonna try 3.5 because I think Amanda would be between 3 and 5. This would be like a good range. And what I did, I just washed it. Then you applied whatever skincare you use currently. And we're gonna go with this foundation. And it's gonna have coverage, it's gonna have SPF, it's gonna have a special mushroom extract that helps to, you know, heal the skin, but it's gonna look very, very natural.
Great, can't wait.
Yes.
And so just so people kind of know what kind of skin I have, so I actually came from Santa Fe, New Mexico, which is high altitude, 7,000 feet above sea level. My skin was always very, very dry. When I was younger, it was a T-zone, oily. I had cystic acne. Now that I'm older and I've actually moved to the Bay Area, there's a lot more moisture in the air, which means my skin is much happier. So I'm not having to deal so much with dry cheeks and dry flaking skin, which has been fantastic. But of course, I am going to be 45 this year, which means I have mature skin, which means my skin is doing different things than it used to when I was younger. And so I'm still trying to learn how to care for my skin now that it's considered mature skin. So I'm looking forward to this.
Awesome. So I did 3.5 shade and number 5 for Charlotte Tilbury. So you can really see, hopefully you guys can see, one is really lighter and the other one is nice and tan. I personally think she is 5, but I'm gonna use this, it's facial toner, but you can still make it just more wetter if you need to. So it could be a toner, it could be a facial spray, anything just to make it more wet. And what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna apply a little bit on the jawline so you can really see if it matches. And it matches really nicely, by the way. And this one, yeah. Oh, you have a mirror. There you go.
My earrings off.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Earrings and mirror, I don't care.
And the mirror, just because of course.
See, so we did a little bit with number 5. Like number 5, I feel like one of the really pretty neutral ones. And see the number 3, it's really, really whitish, kind of. I mean, you can still do good, but I feel the number 5 is better. Take a look. What do you think, Amanda? Oh, this is number 5, and this is 3. I like number 5.
I do too.
Because see, sometimes I actually like when the color gives a little darkish. Not like darkish, but because it almost gives you tan, because naturally the sun hits us and your face gets a little like more color than your neck. So you can always add bronzer on your neck and everything. So let's do the 5, guys.
Okay.
What the most important part, I really want Amanda to feel how she likes the feel of it, how she likes to wear it, if it's, you know, heavy or light, because the most important, I think, for people to feel that they can wear it, like it doesn't wear them, right? Because and photography, right? A lot of times that happens a lot, right? It's like you take a picture and, you know, and then it's like it's not. Right?
Well, sometimes, so I've been doing portrait photography for several years, and I've worked with plenty of professionals who do hair and makeup and different styles, including you know, very film-related makeup, more natural-looking makeup. And something that I always find difficult when I'm doing retouching is when you have someone who has put on a very, very thick layer of makeup and they smile, then all of a sudden you start to see wrinkles or cracks in the foundation or the powder, and that becomes a nightmarish situation for photographers doing the retouching, because then all of a sudden you're having to not only retouch blemishes or what have you, but then you're also having to retouch deep creases. And so having makeup that's very light but still has good coverage is very important, because you want to have the imperfections, of course, kind of blurred out. And something to note also is makeup for photography and makeup for everyday wear is very different. You have to have a certain luminosity that comes through when you're doing makeup for film, as opposed to when you're out and about just regularly in your everyday world. You're going to find that luminosity from indoor lighting or from the sun or just when people look at you, there's the way that they see you is going to be a little bit different than the way that a camera captures you. And so it's very important for a makeup artist or a photographer to understand that. So I know a lot of my clients say, oh, I don't want to have my hair and makeup done because I've never had it done and I have my way. That's fine. That just means you need to talk to the hair and makeup artist and really feel comfortable with them.
Absolutely, and do a trial. A lot of times, sometimes makeup artists, we do things on the blind, and that's hard too. A lot of times, it would be nice to know who is coming to the shoot. Maybe send a picture of who's coming, so you can pick out some products. I think that helps a lot.
Absolutely.
Take a look. This is the side that I did with Charlotte Tilbury number 5. And don't forget, guys, when you do makeup and when you do, go include the ear. A lot of times people don't include the ear, but what if you're going outside, right? You're gonna be on the sun because this is skin, guys. Always include it. Take a look. What do you think on the?
Oh, that's very nice. So something I'm realizing. So when I look at my own face, of course, we all have a very very intimate look of our face. We know little blemishes or little imperfections. And what I'm loving about the way that the application is that I'm not losing any of my normal texture of my skin, which I really love. And when I smile, I'm not seeing any deep creases in the makeup. So yeah, that's really wonderful. And it's also really
light.
It's very light, but it's also made my skin tone very even. That's something that right now, as we were getting in, I was so excited and I was very red. In fact, the redness has already gone down. You can really see that.
Yeah, and don't forget, this particular, that's why she called it magic. It really works with your skin. It's not trying to cover you, because beauty and good products, it should not cover you. I mean, I personally love coverage, and I will put coverage. Like, I have no problem. Like, I had this one girl, and she's like, well, you have big pores, and how come, you have big pores? Why? And it didn't cover, and I honestly didn't know what to say. It's like, it's my skin. I have oily skin, plus it's acnetic, so I'm prone to acne. Like,
Right.
But
right? You have to work with what you have.
Exactly. It's like, I'm not trying to make my skin what it's not. So try not to make yourself what you're not really. You work with what you have. If you have a curvy body, go for it. If you have a slender, model body, go for it. You need to embrace yourself. You need to embrace your personality. You need to embrace who you are, right? I think that's another problem. It doesn't matter who you are, how old you are, a girl or a guy, or I think that's the message. I think beauty people and professionals, we're trying to give to everyone. And I mean, this looks fantastic, and the best part is that's the only thing she needs to do in the morning. That's it.
Excellent.
So now I want you to try to do the same thing on the other side.
Okay.
And the most important part, and what I teach everyone, do not, see how I never swiped the product. Actually always press and just tap, and I drove the product into the skin. This is specifically the technique, because a lot of times, when you work with a product and you're trying to swipe, that's another thing why the product just sits on skin. It needs to be driven into the skin, and that's how you become the professional look.
Excellent.
So this is yours.
Thank you.
And that's why I really like to have a little bit more kind of wetter, because that way you don't end up looking like you have a mask.
But that's so fun.
It is. I'm bad one.
Yeah, of course. Yes. All right, so I put just a little bit onto my hand, and I've got my nicely wet squidgy sponge. I'm going to just do a quick dabby dab. So this is how it looks, and I'm going to get the... And I'm just going to start at the jawline, and I'm just going to do a quick dab.
And just be light, don't try to be like, when you're trying to do it at home, don't try to just stamp it. It's just gently patting the motion, especially if you have rosacea skin And this foundation is actually really good for people that have, you know, breakouts or acne. It's actually going to heal you. It's going to be very moisturizing. A lot of times what I see as a professional when I do facials is people would just be like really rubbing things, and they need to be even more gentle because we don't want to aggravate and irritate.
Right.
How do you like it so far?
It's very nice. I was a little nervous that when I put the product onto the sponge, because it was a little patchy, that I have some problems with its blotting or what's it called, deckling. But it didn't have a problem at all.
No, and that's a regional beauty blender. All the other stuff that's out there, they're trying to mimic to what's the original one, but this lady, did you know, do you know the whole history of a beauty blender?
No, I don't.
This is pretty cool actually. This lady is a professional makeup artist in Hollywood, and one time she went to the special effects makeup, and she saw a technique where they used a sponge and they had it with the sponge. So she actually went to the lab, developed the sponge. Actually, they were supposed to come out with foundation first, and you know, foundation didn't happen that time, so they actually did the sponge first, and it became phenomenal, and it's absolutely fantastic.
All right.
I mean, it looks fabulous. I mean, you can always add a little more. I think you can just put.
So I'm one who usually doesn't do a whole lot.
Just try. I want you to try something.
Oh,
I know.
Come on.
I know.
Oh, come on. Okay, fine.
Oh, oops. It's, you took 3.5.
Was I supposed to do another color?
It was, yeah, it was a,
The 5.
Oh. Ah, here we go. It's the 5. No wonder I'm like, oh my god. But it's fine. We can just put a little.
Let's mix and match.
Yeah,
That's what
mix and match. That's what we do. Know. Professionals, we always play with color and things and lenses, right?
Oh, yeah? One of the things that I don't know a lot of people know about me, aside from being a photographer, I'm also a watercolor artist. And I've done various types of medium, including charcoal and oil and everything. And I think that that's been really important in kind of learning color theory.
Yes.
I think a lot of people don't really kind of understand color theory, and that's fine because that's what professionals are for. But the idea of mixing different things and utilizing colors to make light and dark, that's something I really appreciate about makeup artists, is that's what they do. They paint on skin with dark and light, and that's exciting. It's really fun.
Yeah, and you know, like makeup for, like, if it's black and white, it could be a little different. Makeup for, you know, better.
Okay, I have makeup on now. Hooray!
Well, it's not, okay, this is not just makeup, it's actually a skincare makeup. So, you know, you have a good benefit of protection, you have a benefit of moisturizing, you have a benefit of, you know, just not covering your skin, but actually just giving yourself protection and just looking very natural. I think a lot of times that's another kind of things that people are looking for nowadays, right? Everybody wants to look as little put as possible. So what do you use for concealer?
So I actually use, I actually don't use a lot of concealer. I've been very blessed genetically to have pretty clear skin now that I'm older. But I usually use Smashbox CC cream, and as you were mentioning, it's usually for drier skin.
Yes.
And because I had drier skin, and I still kind of do, this really kind of worked for me. And I would usually mix it with the Smashbox Photo Finish Foundation Primer, which is, it almost reminds me of like putting Vaseline over a lens. So I'd be able to fill in little blemishes or what have you with just a clear sort of cream. And if I needed a little bit more coverage, then I'd mix the two together, and then I'd have a very light sort of color over what I had. The other thing that I would use is actually this right here. It's a multicolor. Let's see if we can kind of see. There's 4 different colors. You really can't see. I'm sorry. Oh, there.
There you go.
Yeah. There. Yep. Nope.
No.
Nope. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. No. There we go. Okay.
Now
so it's got blue, it's got yellow, it's got green, and it's got pink.
Here you go.
And again, color theory, if you have like one color will cancel out the other. And so I use the green quite a bit because that would help cancel out the red. And if you have blue under your eyes, then a little bit of yellow will help cancel that out. And then I think red goes opposite with if you have a greenish tinge into your skin, you use that. So as you can tell, my green is very well used.
So what we're gonna do today, actually, we're gonna use that shade that's a little lighter that I took, and I'm gonna use a finger, and we're gonna pat a little bit under Amanda's eye, just tiny bit. Less is more, because a lot of people don't realize that the less product you use, especially under the eye. And do you see I'm using the patting motions? So what I'm doing, actually, I'm doing lymphatic drainage. So if you woke up and you feel like your eyes are just not woke up, and you have, like, you know, sometimes you just like heavy things, so this motion is gonna help you to, do you feel like I just like almost kind of like nice. It's really nice. And use like those type of ring fingers. Do not use this finger, just use something like on the other side, so that way, and look, just look at the mirror, how it just already brightened up the eyes. Less product, and just really pat very, very, very gently. And see, we're gonna use the yellow that we have, so it's gonna help the patting fingers. And we are gonna use, it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be this particular brush. So, brushes are just leaving us. We're gonna use something like this, see? So, and then we're gonna go into yellow, and we are, yeah, you can see how I do it, but go a little more down, and look, yeah. And we're just gonna pat it. And that's the only place we're actually gonna pat it. And then on the, you know, like anywhere that she feels she got redness, we're just gonna take the green one and just pat a little bit, just tiny bit, like mostly like just tiny bit. Less is more, guys. And that's it.
All right. Look. So now my turn. I'm going to take a little bit of this, and I'm just going to do, again, with the ring finger instead of with the pointer finger, which has a lot of strength to it. I'm just going to come in here and lightly pat.
Yep.
You can tell I didn't sleep very well last night.
You know what? It's too much bright light right now. That's what happens. It's like all of a sudden we got the light and you're just like, whoa.
No, what happens is kitty cat, Mr. Ivan the cat, he wanted to have dinner or breakfast a little early. Okay, so we're going in with yellow. Underneath the eye.
Tiny bit.
Again, in a patting motion.
Patting motion. We never want to rub anything at all.
Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to take some of the green.
Just a tiny bit. It's only if you want to. You don't.
Just kind of looking at the places where I do usually get a little bit of red. I usually get a little bit of red right around the nose, right here on the chin, and sometimes right here on the base of the temple. I don't know why. Maybe I poke myself. I'm not really sure. Anyway. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, very nice. Okay, there's that, and there's that.
How do you feel the BB cream? Do you feel like
it's very light, it's not very sticky, which I appreciate.
Yes, I can't stand sticky stuff.
I feel like I'm not going to rub it off and make a mess, which is really great. That's something that one of my biggest pet peeves about makeup, or I should say foundation, is that especially if you're wearing black or a dark color and you accidentally rub, all of a sudden you've got a mess on your sleeve or on your neckline. So not having that is very, very nice.
Awesome. So now it's my favorite, absolute favorite eye bases. It's Urban Decay Original. It's the best. I don't know, like I can't use any other eye bases because this one is cancels out your oily eyelids. It's magic. I don't know what they did. It's absolutely fantabulous. And we just gonna do just tiny bit the same way. We're just gonna pat. We're not rubbing anything whatsoever, because the less you're rubbing, the better the product is gonna look. And what's really cool about this particular, I use it by itself, even like on the days when I'm not gonna use any eyeshadows, anything, because it just makes your eyes even, right? And for photography, you want as matte as possible and no shine, correct?
That's absolutely right.
Because camera doesn't like any shiny stuff.
No,
I love shiny, camera doesn't.
Unless you're going for 1980s glamour shots. Ow! No, none of that. We like to go matte because it's very, very timeless, and it's beautiful when it's in person, because again, it's about movement and it's about reflecting of the light. But when you're doing a camera shot, you need to have everything focused in on the eyes instead of on everything else. Unless, of course, it's a styled shoot. At that point, that's a different story. All right, so all I'm gonna do is just do a pat it. Ooh, I'm using the wrong finger. Naughty, naughty.
As long as you just pat it.
I'm not gonna be very hard about it, so.
Yeah.
If you guys remember, you're not supposed to use your pointer finger, you're supposed to use any other finger but. And the reason is?
Because we're doing it on camera.
All right, I think I've got my full coverage.
Perfect. So what do you do for your brows? Do you have like a brow gel usually you do?
I actually just use a pencil. I have never touched my brows, only just to shape the very, very bottoms. And then of course, back when I was young, I had a little bit of a monobrow, so I plucked those and those never came back, which was awesome. But now that I'm getting older, I'm realizing I'm starting to thin a little bit just on the arch. So I use very, very small brush, or just not finger strokes, pencil strokes to fill in those little areas, and then to lengthen just a little bit, not a whole lot.
They do have some serums. It's called New Lash and New Brow. It's NUE. So they only use peptides. It's from Nordstrom. It's actually, oops, sorry guys. Come on, go back. Those calls. Come on. But basically, it just. What's that going?
So Sophia's actually doing it via Instagram, and I'm on Facebook, so you can follow us on either. Did you need to?
I might have to like end it.
I try cancel and see if it comes back.
Come on. Come back.
We're still figuring this out.
Yes.
So thank you for your patience.
Okay, it's just gonna have to like save it and we'll do it again.
Okay.
So we'll just basically brush it. Amanda has gorgeous brows and she's very smart. She knows I touched it.
I just remember seeing some people who had, when I was young, having to draw in their brows, and I loved Brooke Shields when I was little, and so I wanted to be her when I grew up, because she had such great brows, and she was just so beautiful, and so that's one reason I never touched my brows, was because of Brooke Shields. So thank you, Brooke Shields.
Yes.
Thanks for making me not.
So we back. So it just
hi everybody on Instagram. We're talking about brows, and I have never touched my brows thanks to
Brooke Shields. Yes, she's awesome. We love Brooke Shields. And if you want to add a little more, you'll just put just a tiny bit over here. Just tiny bit. I do personally like the brow gels that has a little bit of fibers.
Okay. So
like Benefit has, it's called Give Me Brow. That's something really cool. Like a lot of, I don't know if e.l.f. has it. Like if e.l.f. has it, that'll be awesome. But see, we just added a little bit, and the good trick to do is just to edit and brush it. Edit and brush it. because that way it becomes more natural. It doesn't look like you drew anything. It just looks like it's just really pretty naturally. Look.
Oh, I like that.
See?
That's something that I personally, this is my personal opinion, I'm not a big fan of.
And this one is, what color is that one?
I
don't see the color on that one.
I'm not really sure.
Oh,
it's taupe.
Taupe.
So I'm not a big fan of overdrawing brows personally. That's just my personal opinion. So I'm very conservative when it comes to putting my brows together. So all I'm going to do is come in and just do some very, very light strokes.
And brush it.
And pull
strokes and brush it. Strokes and brush it, because that's the best way to create natural brows. Because a lot of times people just drew, but as long as you just like drew and brush it, and then you can add the intensity that you want to.
You can build on it. Okay, I feel good.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you really need anyway. It's like there's no need to make it. And
don't get all crazy.
Yeah.
Sorry,
exactly. And then we are just gonna use this. Oh, I really like this one. Do you want a gray or do you want brown?
Seeing as I'm wearing black, why don't we go with the gray?
Yeah, let's do with the gray. I love gray.
She loves my. We've already gone through my makeup bag. She's like, show me your makeup, and so I have my kit for my clients, just in case an emergency, and then I have my own kit for myself. And so I had all this other makeup in my kit, and she pulls this out. She said, "Wait a second, you have Chanel in your client kit and not in your own kit?" So it's now mine again.
Yes, so it's like we pull the best for Amanda. And do you have a sharpener?
I do.
Yes.
I'll be back.
So here's a good tip. I personally, when I do makeup on myself and on my models and clients, I do always sharpen my pencil, because that's the best way to make the look very precise, because then the pencil always stays fresh. It becomes like this very edgy look, and I feel it's good to have edgy look. It doesn't matter if it's for every day or if it's for professional or whatever it is. It just, number one, if for the eyes and for the lips, I do like to sharpen it all the time, just like it. This is the best sharpener. I love MAC sharpener. I think they got rid of this one, which is sad. So I went to Nordstrom Rack and bought like 10 of them, because they're like $3 or something. I'm like, you could never have too many, So you can use a Q-tip. You can use any angle brush or anything. So here's a tip. Make sure you're gonna draw the line from where your lashes start till the lashes end, because when you're starting out and when you do like this no makeup look and something on the go and fast, you don't want to mess with the line and liner. It's something I feel professional, since we do it all the time. It's easy for us. But if you're just trying to be kind of like on the rush and go and looking good and no makeup look, that's a perfect way. So we're just gonna look nicely a little down, but not all the way down. So we're gonna start from the lashes. And the best part, the line does not have to be perfect at all. Like, just draw it, that's it. Oh my god, it's gonna make your eyes pop, because I feel this color is so neutral, but then it makes your like darker eyes. It has like a little almost lightness to it, so it's gonna make it look brighter. I love gray, period. Gray, it's a neutral family, so you can really go wrong. And then you're just gonna you can take Q-tip, you can take liner, you can take, and just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And that's it. Take a look.
All right.
It's super easy.
Oh, very nice. So I'm gonna come in closer so you can see. And you too. I wink at you. All right.
See how easy it is? Like it didn't even take that long and it's super easy.
Okay.
The most important is just do the line and smudge it, and that's it. And you don't have to be perfect with the line at all.
That's something I'm realizing now that my skin is not the same as it used to be. Is the eye skin, it pulls a bit more, and so I find myself having a harder time really maintaining a good line when I'm doing this. So
with this trick, you don't have to be perfect.
Yeah,
you don't
I like
have
that.
to be, and then smudge it. This look is good for literally any age. It does not matter. I can do this look on my 11-year-old. I can do this look on my mom who's, over 60. It just looks fabulous and ageless, and that's what I love. I love that it's like a classic beauty trick. It's something like, they did in pinup a lot. Like when you look at pinup makeup, you see there's no sharp lines anywhere. Well, except lips though.
Lips are always razor sharp. All right.
How do you like it? Do you feel this is like, and see, we just did the eye base, which we didn't mess with any shadow, and we just did this. And if you want to, if you like something under, I like personally just to put a tiny bit over here, just a little bit, not too much, because I like the accentuate, and then just smudge it too. And you let me know if you like this look, because I personally like it because it makes your eyes a little more structured and a little bigger.
Oh yeah. Very nice.
But very little. See, don't put too much. Just literally, just as long as this. See, like this. You don't want to put too much. And smudge it. It's kind of like this little tiny V.
I'm going to come in closer. So first of all, so Instagram can see, and then let's see. Oh, there we go. There's Facebook. All right.
I mean, this is something you want to play with, because I feel some eyes can take more and some eyes can take less, and it just depends on the eye shape. But I like just tiny bit, because it just kind of opens up your eyes, and I like it's almost kind of creates like this soft cat eye. But then you didn't do a cat eye, you didn't do a wing, and that's a very like a particular trick.
Okay, I think I matched it.
Yeah.
Hey. Okay.
Awesome. And then basically then you do any mascara if you like to curl your lashes, whatever mascara you use for that day, it's like that's always good for no makeup look. I personally, what I do, I just take mascara and literally just go to the base of my lashes, wiggle it, and I'm not even go through, if I'm like in a rush. That way it does not look like you had something too much going on.
All right.
So which mascara we doing? This one? Okay.
So this
do
one
you like this Sephora mascara?
I really do, and the reason that I love it is the wand. The wand is really really odd.
Huh, I've never seen anything like that.
Really kind of strange. It does not have.
But that would be perfect for that wiggle right to the root.
Exactly.
I think you're already doing it. Looks like right to the roots. So
part of my problem is that even though I have curly hair, I have straight lashes, stick straight lashes, and so it has teeny tiny little it's a little tiny comb, and it just really gives a gorgeous.
How is it possible? We both have curly hair, but our lashes are straight. It does not make any sense.
It's pretty weird.
And my daughter does not have kind of wavish, and her lashes are curly natural.
I know, it's ridiculous.
It does not make any sense.
It really is. Well, for the longest time, I was actually keeping a mascara comb that was back in the late 90s from Rimmel. And that's what I would use to comb through, because it seemed like a lot of times the regular mascara ones were just, they would leave too many clumps. And I really like to have, I didn't want to have spider lashes. I wanted to have, you know, very feathery lashes. And then when I found this particular, so this is,
now I need to buy it.
It's called Outrageous Curl, and it's by Sephora. It comes in a kind of a honeycomb sort of thing. And this is the only one I've found with a really, this kind of
small one,
little tiny brush, and it's really great. It doesn't poke your eyeballs out either. Because I tell you what, I've done that before, and that's exciting. No, not so much.
So what do you use for bronzer? Do you use any bronzer?
I do not use bronzer because I am so light. Usually looks a little odd on me.
Okay, so we're not actually going to use a bronzer because, Amanda, you need to do something what a person is most comfortable with. So we're actually going to use NARS Orgasm blush. Obviously you can see which one she loves the most.
And what can I say? I'm a creature of habit.
So, and I'm just going to use this brush. Even so it's small, but this is a very good brush for creating almost like a blush contour or something, I would say. So, and we're just gonna put a little bit. I mean, Amanda knows how to do it, but I'm just gonna show it for you guys. And I usually use the back of my hand just to take, you know, a little more out. And we're just gonna tap it because we don't want to rub anything, especially if you have sensitive skin or rosacea. We want just to kind of like just tap it because we don't want to irritate or aggravate or anything. And this color is absolutely fantabulous. It's just gorgeous color for anyone. And just put it on top of the cheekbones because it has a nice luminosity to this color. I absolutely love this color, and you already know how to do that one.
Okay, so I'm gonna just
Perfect.
This actually I use this for not just a blusher, but also as for my lids sometimes.
Yeah, and that's gonna be my next step. I'm gonna show.
And then sometimes I actually put it over. I put a lip gloss on, and then I just take a little bit and I pat it into it, so it creates this shimmery matte sort of look, which is very natural as well.
Yeah, a lot of people don't really realize that the bronzer and the blush could be your crease color on your eyes. It could be your lipstick. It could be your so many other awesome things. Like, don't just think, oh, it's just a blush or it's just a bronzer. It's many multiple awesome things. So play with your makeup. Right? It's like the more
it's fun, and don't be scared of it. I was a performer for 30 years, and I sang on stage, and I never played around with eye makeup. I just put mascara, eyeliner. I was all about the bold lip, and that's what I did. And then I realized later on, probably a few years back, I said, I'm an artist and I'm scared of trying color. This is ridiculous. And so I just started doing a look a day and just started getting like really heavy duty color and just going nuts with it. And it was kind of fun. It wasn't like I was going to go out and, go grocery shopping with this crazy makeup on, but it was a lot of fun because I had the chance to play with it. And so if you have time just to play, just play. That's what we did when we were kids. We used to play.
Yeah, and see what you like. Sometimes you would be surprised what you like, actually. Because, trust me, you go around and people start complimenting you. You're like, oh, okay.
Oh my.
I personally play around with fine fragrances. Like, I love expensive fragrances because they put, fine fragrances, they put really good ingredients that does not irritate you. It's not like something you're just gonna go and buy, whatever. But people like today, I was just kind of like walking around talking, and they're like, "You smell nice." I'm like, "All right," but I was like mixing up, That's what I think. The same thing. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna take a little bit of blush, and then you're just gonna put tiny bit, and just gonna do right over here, right on the socket of your eye. And what you're gonna do, you're gonna put in the end of your lashes and just put tiny bit here. And I literally just put just tiny bit. Like, see how we just hit it to where the highest brow bone, and that's it. Because we opened up her eyes. So what we did a lift. Take a look. That's all I did.
Ooh. Oh, I like that.
See? Because what we did, like, see how she has beautiful slanted eyes, and we just did right here, like literally just tiny bit. It's very slight, but you can see it. It's very little. The less you put, the more it looks to the eye.
Okay.
And then you put in the back of the hand. That's it.
So all I'm doing is right in the crease.
Yes.
And do I add any in this way? Nope.
No,
Okay.
and it's actually, I would say, even less. Just here, tiny bit. Because we want to just open up the eye. If Amanda, if you're gonna start going here, it's gonna start closing the eye. We want to open up and just like kind of like lift. So we're doing like a natural lift. You know, a lot of times people, when I do makeup, people are like, whoa, like, what just happened? Like, I did the makeup like a couple weeks ago, and her husband's like, did you go to the spa? Because it just looks more lifted. We did a lifting look, and I mean, it's really easy. How do you feel like so far?
This is really great. I'm just, looking at the reflection here in the feedback. It's really beautiful. It's very open. It's very light. It's very natural. I don't feel overdone, which I appreciate. So yeah, let's move on.
Let's do the lips. I mean, that's it.
I love lips.
So if you're on the go and you have no time, the best way I usually do is just do the lip balm. Something that has a little bit of color. If you have a little more time, then I love NARS. I mean, NARS is my kind of weakness. Hi guys. And what's really cool about NARS, I usually like to sharpen it.
I do not have a fat sharpener. It's packed.
Yep.
Sorry.
It's packed.
I moved in January and there's still stuff in boxes. I don't know where things are.
So we are gonna look.
Sure. That one's even worse. I need to buy a
oh!
See, I told you it's bad.
See, this is perfect. See, it's like a color, but it's lip balm. So this is a perfect on the go. You put in the purse. If you want to have a little color, have something in your, so this is good. So I'm just thinking what else she has. What is that one? Oh, it's a lip shine. And then we're gonna, okay. We're gonna use, see, it has a nice sharpened point. So it's not always you need to have, a pencil. I mean, pencil would be good. But as long as it has a sharpened point, we can really make it look like a outliner. Because what we need the outline. That's what we need. So we can see where we're gonna put the red. And I don't know if you guys know, but NARS pencils, they has hyaluronic acid, so it's naturally gonna plump your lips.
Okay.
So that's I don't think that too many people know. So that's another thing why I love them, because it plumps your lips without looking too unnatural. And I'm like trying not to close the camera and open up your lips. Perfect. Good. We just need an outline. That's all we need. We don't, we're not trying to like do something, because this is what we're gonna use. And don't try to be afraid of colors. A lot of times people see the color, and I mean, I used to be that way when I started out. I'm like, oh, it's a color, I'm not gonna use it. But you know, you can make it less. You can just pat it. You can just, like, you know, make it as not as bright. But you know, the crazy part, guys love bright lips. They really do. And I just good. I love this color. Perfect. You do this. Awesome. Milka, make it less, please.
I love a red lip. That's one of my favorites.
But see, this is a very good color. It's not too much. And this color is Cruella. Cruella. See it? See it? It's really, really good. Like, and see, it does not look too much. That's the best part. Anyone can wear this color, and I wear that color. And sometimes I would just put this mascara, and that's it. That's the
Love it. Well, guys, what do you think? Good?
Yes,
good?
let us know your thoughts. Please ask us any questions if you can think of something. I think the most important part is to put sunscreen.
Absolutely.
You know, I think a lot of times people don't understand how important it is, and I think a lot of times even the guys, right? The guys never put anything on themselves, and you know, that's why I think women look better, because we have more time to, it's not like we have more time, but we put time in our regimen to put sunscreen. So sunscreen is very, very important. What skincare product you feel you can't live without?
Oh gosh. So any kind of moisturizer. I've been trying different things out. Rosebud Self is one thing that I cannot live without. No, it's the little tube. This one.
Ah, yes.
So I have a little story about this. My great grandmother used to sell this.
No way.
Yes, I guess they would come in little boxes, and you would sell them, and then if you sold however many, then you would get an extra one. So my great grandma always had this.
That's awesome.
And so it became just part of what I'd always have in, you know, it was always around the house, because of course she sold it, and everybody always had it.
Yeah.
And then I found out later on, as I got older and, you know, was more savvy, more and more people this was like their little secret, you know, the cult classic or whatever. So Rosebud Salve has always been one of those things that it's just, it smells good, it makes your lips or your hands or whatever very soft. So I love this. Red lipstick. Red lipstick's always my thing.
You like the from Rimmel?
So it's a Rimmel,
Rimmel.
And it's a Kate Moss color.
107, right?
107. That is my color. That's my signature color. And what I love about it is that it's not so brash that it makes your teeth look ugly. Mm-hmm. It has a little bit of a blue undertone, so your teeth look white when you wear it. And I love that it doesn't feather. So even if you have you know, very fine lines around your lips, it doesn't feather, and it's matte. So I love that as well. So that's those.
I felt it was not too matte. I felt it was a good consistency, because a lot of times if it's too matte, it just makes your lips really dry. So it had a little bit of almost satin feel.
Yeah.
And it looks good in black and white, right? You mentioned.
And it looks gorgeous in black and white. So yeah, that's another one that's one of my favorites. So yeah.
And I think one item, if you guys are able to spare some money, always spare on 2 items: eye cream and serums. And why I'm saying, because the skin around the eyes, unfortunately, is super, you know, it's gentle. So you definitely want to use some kind of like nice moisturizing, you know, cream. And also, serum has the smallest amount of molecule. So it's gonna penetrate through your skin the fastest and the most. So it's gonna be really good. So find a good serum that's good for your skin type. If you're dry, it's gonna be obviously moisturizing. If it has sensitive, something's gonna come down your skin. And please write to us, and we're gonna answer any questions.
So I'm gonna do a quick thing on posing, because I promised on posing.
Yes.
So I'm gonna stand up, and we're gonna move this out of the way. Awesome. Let's see, and I'm gonna make sure you can actually see me. I'm gonna pull this up just a hair feather, and I think we can see here too. So everybody's always doing selfies, right? You pull out your camera and off you go. A few things that I usually see that people are doing that are not the best. One of those is taking pictures from up over here. I know that makes you look slender or whatever, but it makes you look like, oh, you're trying to make yourself look slender. Tell you what, I'm gonna teach you how to do it to where it's really, really easy. All right, so this is for guys and for girls, because I'm seeing that some gentlemen have joined us on both channels. Hello, guys. One of them is what I call the turtle. And what this is it feels weird, but it looks amazing. Basically, you're gonna bring your nose forward and then down. And what this does is that it lengthens the neck. When people laugh and smile, it doesn't matter how small or how big you are, this happens. You don't want that. And so by just extending that chin forward and down like a little turtle, that makes all of this nice, long, and lean. So that's number one. Anytime that comes out, you do that. Chin forward and down. Second is posture. Posture, posture, posture. I'm not saying tuck in your gut because you don't want to look like this. I look really funny in this one because it's really low. You don't want to look like this. So it's really about straightening your spine, engaging your core. If you've been doing any sort of working out, your trainer or anybody that you're listening to will always say strengthen your core, engage your core. Basically make that stomach muscle engage so that you're kind of active, and then tuck your booty in just a little bit. And what that does is that it brings your body into a relaxed position. Then all of a sudden you feel a little bit more at ease. For women, put your weight on your back foot. Put the other foot forward, and this is what I call a mermaid. Some people call it the pee-pee dance. I call it the mermaid because that's a little nicer. But basically, you're gonna put that foot forward, and then all of a sudden you have your body looking like it's coming into a peak in the center. Hands on hips. A lot of times people put their hands on their hips out here. That makes your waist look very large. Instead, pull it in. In fact, even instead of going straight ahead, put it asymmetrical. Now you'll notice this looks pretty good, and if you'll notice my thumb is not around my waist, it's actually kind of just tucked into my side, but you can't tell that from the front. So all of a sudden I have a much thinner waist. Bringing those shoulders down, chin forward and down. Gentlemen, what do I do with my hands? That's always a question I get. What do I do with my hands?
Always.
Right?
Always.
Okay, so guys, take your thumbs, stick them in your pockets if you have pockets. And women, because I know we don't have pockets, even though they pretend that we have pockets, pretend you have pockets. Just tuck your thumbs in, and all of a sudden you have a very relaxed sort of, hey, I'm just hanging out look. And if you open up your arms a little bit, then you see a little bit of daylight, and it makes you look slenderer. Sometimes you see couples who are mismatched as far as height goes. How do you make that happen? Like for instance, my husband Jeff, he's much taller than I am, so when we come in for a portrait, he's like up over here and I'm tucked in very weirdly. Gentlemen, just open up your legs a little bit, all of a sudden you've shrunk a couple of inches, and then the other person can come in and fit in a little bit better. That also works for women who are much taller and want to fit in a little bit closer into other people. Just open up your legs a little bit and all of a sudden you have gone down a couple of inches, and it doesn't look too weird. Any other questions? You guys have some questions as far as, oh, I've got a good one. Look at what's around you. Also often you'll see selfies with people having things growing out of their heads, like trees. Just take a step to the side and all of a sudden that tree's not in your head. Or a pole or a telephone line. Taking pictures in your house, like we're in my house right now. If you see that, like let's say that there's a cat sitting someplace, just move over and all of a sudden, hey, okay, that looks a lot better. What else? Oh, I know. Some people aren't very comfortable with smiling, and I totally get that. And so, practice in front of the mirror. In fact, in the morning when you're brushing your teeth or combing your hair, just do do a few poses in the mirror. Feel comfortable with what you know you're going to look good at. Everybody has their good side.
How do you know which side is good, which one is not good?
That's a very good question. For instance, for me, when I smile, very few people's faces are symmetrical.
Yes.
When I smile, this eye gets really small. So I always try to photograph with this eye closest to the camera, because whatever closest to the camera, it looks bigger. So all of a sudden, that's going to even that out. So that's one way to figure out what your best side is.
So the one that's closing the eye, you want to take it away from the camera?
No, you want it to be closer. So the eye that's closest, so let's see if I smile. You can see that this eye is much smaller. Well, not a lot smaller, but that one squinches up a little bit more. So that'll be the eye that I get closest, because then this eye, which is further away, is going to look a little bit smaller, and it's going to even out this eye. So I'll do this. So just kind of see what side looks really good. Some people maybe have had acne or have scars on one side of their face, and they're not very comfortable with that. Fine, do the other side. One thing also, I know there's a lot of people who do their selfies on their phones, and then they use things like Facetune to over soften their faces.
I see that all the time.
Please don't do that. You're beautiful. You don't need to be over softened.
Just a little bit, right? Just tiny bit, but not like all the way.
Yeah. So here's some tips on how to look a little less. Recommendations for dealing with a gummy smile. Oh, that's a really good question, Garrett. So just quickly on the whole lighting thing. If you get to a let's say facing a window, and you're looking at the window, and that'll help. An even lighting will help get rid of a lot of the lines and the creases in your eyes or in your face or what have you. That chin and forward and down will also help tighten and pull these back, so that you don't feel as though you have a lot of wrinkles that you need to overdo.
And less products. Make sure whatever products you put on yourself, make sure you put less around the eyes. That way it's really gonna look better when you smile. That way you don't have those wrinkly eye.
Right. So the gummy smile, that's a good question. It's really dependent on how you feel. For some people, they don't like to smile because they feel they show too much gum. And I've had people who would prefer not to smile. So at that point, learn how to smile with your mouth closed. That's totally fine. And if you do want to smile with your big, beautiful smile, then do it. Just own it. I think a lot of times photographers deal with a lot of self-depreciation, where people don't feel very good about themselves. And I'm sure you feel the same. You get the same thing, where people will tell you a million things they hate about themselves.
Yeah, big eyes, big smile, big cheeks, big, I mean, I have that. That's kind of a problem.
For me, it's always, I need to lose 10 pounds because I'm too heavy, or I hate my smile, or I need to get my roots done, or whatever it may be. But I think that learning that
confidence, I think, right?
It's really what that's about. People aren't going to be saying, "Oh my God, you look like terrible" or whatever. I mean, unless they're real jerks, and at that point, do you really need them in your life?
I mean, plus they have Photoshop, right? They can just really do so many magic things too.
Right.
If you've done right, correct.
If done right. And so I know some people have asked me, what do you use in editing on your phone? Because of course, when I take pictures with my regular camera, I'm using Photoshop and Lightroom to do things. But on the iPhone, I actually utilize something called Touch Retouch, and it's I think $2 in the App Store, and that has a lot of different ways of. It has the opportunity to maybe blur out the background, or make the background a little bit darker and whatever's in the front lighter. There's a lot of different controls that you can use, which are really, really wonderful. And then the other one that I use, I'm sorry, no, that's Touch and Retouch actually removes blemishes. It removes background things like, let's say you're standing at a hotel and there's, you know, a light switch. You can get rid of that with Touch Retouch. The one I was talking about before was actually Google's Snapseed, Snapseed, and that's the one that you can point by point control saturation, control light and dark, all of that. It's really, really, really powerful and very, very good, easy to learn. So those are the two that are my go-tos on what I use all the time.
What do you think about airbrush?
Airbrush.
It's like this phone application.
I have not used it, so I can't comment on that. I have tried Facetune just because everybody was using it and I wanted to see if there was a way to make it less obnoxious. And I'm sorry for people who love it, and also the developers. I know you're wonderful people. But as somebody who's really, really into making people feel empowered of themselves, of who they are, I find that crutches like that help people create a more dystopian look of themselves.
Okay, so how about this? Let's practice it together. Okay, now I want you guys to get up. Like,
Get up.
you know,
I'm
like, you know, complete beginner at all of this. So just pretend you're me, and and Amanda's gonna be like, kind of like, you know, like you just getting up and, you know, like get yourself like.
Yep. So one thing I always do is shake your hands.
Shake hands.
So that your hands aren't purple. No purple hands.
I'm like sweating here, but it's okay. I'm like feel like completely like. Woo. Okay.
So put the weight on one of your feet, whichever
left,
one.
right, doesn't
matter. Whichever one you feel more comfortable with. So you put all your weight on that foot.
Okay.
The other foot's going to go right in front of it.
Okay, so it's kind of like ballet, right?
Yeah, kind of like ballet.
Okay.
And you're just going to be really, really firm in that back foot.
So are you going to stand on your back?
Back foot is where you
stand.
stand.
Not at the front, right? The back.
No, the front is just barely touching in front of you.
Okay.
Okay, so you can see that we've got this nice V happening.
So it's kind of like this, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So she's got this V going on over here. So then you're going to put your hands on your hips, because that's what a lot of people like to do. So just put your hands on your hips.
But we're not going to put over here.
We're going to put them forward a little bit. Almost, I don't know, about hands width from your belly button.
Okay. So do we hands here or over here?
Like this. Like you're going to hold a... You're
hold
going to hold the
right?
cup and bring it to you, but you're going to be holding your waist.
Because see, like my waist is here, but we're going to put it right here, so it looks smaller.
So it's going to be right here.
Okay.
And then, just to change it up a little bit, you're going to move one up just a little bit, and then this one's going to be down a little bit.
Okay.
Because what that does is it gives a little bit of asymmetry.
Ooh.
Exactly. Now, if you have a friend who, it may be, like for instance, I've got kind of a loose shirt. I could tuck it in the back a little bit, so that way it brings my waist forward a little bit more. And again, pulling in and together. And so, one thing, you have beautiful hands. Look at how graceful her hands are. I know sometimes people do what we call the claw, and that's not exciting. Or the Thunderbird, which is like this, again, not exciting. Something that I like to do is do like puppy dogs, like that. And then you just let your hands relax. And these two fingers are stuck together. These two fingers are stuck together. And so all of a sudden you have graceful ballet hands. And then you can put them over your face. And don't do that, please. But
I'm trying to do basics here.
I know. So basically, if you do that with those ballet hands on your waist, all of a sudden you look like a top model. And then bring that chin forward.
And then it's like, so it's like
chin forward and down.
Okay, forward and down.
Down. So it's almost like you're leading with your nose straight forward. Forward and down.
And now don't breathe. Don't breathe.
No, you can breathe. No falling over. That's just not part of it. That's just bad. Breathe.
Remember, we're not putting here. We're putting right here.
Right?
Right here.
Right? And I know sometimes people have a hard time because they might be a little heavier, and so as a result don't have a lot of flexibility in their hands. And that's totally fine. What I end up doing is you tuck your thumb in like that, and then you put it on your waist. So then it doesn't matter where you are on your body. You're not having to deal with that thumb, and you can relax your hands. So that's really useful for that. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Sarah. Yes. The framing really does bring the eye into making the waist a little bit smaller. So this is just, it's kind of an easy way to work together. So now let's say you and I are posing together. And when girlfriends usually pose together, it's always come forward and do this. And that's cute and all. What if you try something a little different? Back to back. And then just coming down. See, isn't that? And yeah, you can put your hand on your hip, and I'm going to put my hand on my thigh, and just coming forward. So all we're doing is we're leading with our shoulders together, and then the tops of our heads are coming in together. So then it's just there's that connection of togetherness, and we both look beautiful.
And then you put the chin down.
The chin forward and down. Exactly.
See, forward and down. Remember from The Legally Blonde, remember how it's like, what is supposed to go like,
yep, forward and down.
So forward and down, so that should be your thing.
So this is something actually I've really kind of gotten into my head, that whenever a camera comes out, right away I get into position. I just kind of throw the shoulder back. I put my weight on my back foot, this foot comes forward. I don't have to put my hands on the hips, I may just put my hands right next to my body like this, and then I bring the chin forward and down. And I'm ready to go. Whether it be a straight looking face, or a smiling face, or a smirking face, for those who don't like to show their teeth, you can do a smirk, and that's totally fine. And gentlemen, let's say that I'm a guy and you're a girl, we can do the same thing, but instead of being more flirty or doing this, guys are going to be more straight on, and maybe instead of doing this, the shoulders are just down, and you're going to give a smile, or having those thumbs in your pockets. The reason I do thumbs in the pockets instead of fingers in the pockets is because oftentimes when you put your finger in the or your hand in the pocket will like push against the skin of your hand. If it's just the thumb, then all of a sudden the hand is relaxed. So that gives that. So any other questions? We're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah.
So thank you guys. There's been so many of you watching and giving us positive feedback. We appreciate it. We'll hopefully do this again. So thanks guys.
Thank you so much. Bye.